Okay, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday
Experience Society Milwaukee. I
I
just
just have two quick announcements. We will be passing a sign-up sheet around
our
our city hall of it, but that'll be coming up. And also we for donation asks.
so those will be coming around towards the end of the time together.
And now I just want to invite John up here. He's going to speak today.
Thanks, Larry. I'm John Ward. As soon as I can get going through all the classes in this,
I'll be a member of First Unitarian, but for now, I just come to Sunday once a couple of years now since I moved back.
I'm a retired foreign service officer.
Retired U.S. diplomat.
Originally from Wisconsin, and as a group, I give that a great appreciation for what it does. I'm also a part-time election inspector. So you see Milwaukee 2, 3, 4 times a year, and I do some part-time work as a contractor with the State Department. So I was Boston, but all State Department suspended. So the good news is I'm here, and I have follow Steve Watrous. Now, I was a member of the Union Association of Other Cities, joined the local chapter, which Steve is the president. So I met him through the United Nations Association, and then it was Steve. It's like the inspector of the inspector, rather than the exact. Steve wears many hats. Instructor, student, peace and progressive causes. So, Steve Watrous.
Watrous, chapter of the United Nations Association, which is part of the organization called the USA. And what I'd like to talk about today is introduce myself to the board, and then talk about the chapter, which I know the best, and then talk about the national organization, which I know pretty well, talk about the United States relationship with the United Nations, which is well, a trouble spot when you heard the news, and get some information on that, and I'm hoping John will be around for really hard in-depth questions from the State Department. So I'd like to show a couple of visuals. So since it's about time, we're going to just start with this. Together. So it's John mentioned I was working. I worked in peace issues since 1969. That's by the way, I worked on Central American issues. Worked with the group called Jobs with Peace, for example, coordinator with peace here, sort of the shepherd. Other things which I'll mention along the way. So I'll put the just go ahead and see this as well. You don't have to read the whole thing, but the point is the USA got going actually before the UN was founded, started during World War II. And the main purpose is to be a support of the United Nations itself. People analyze the League of Nations, its predecessor, was failed to stop World War II, to try and think what could be done differently. And one of the problems with the League of Nations was it didn't have sufficient support from the US, really. And And so the idea was, well, let's have a citizen organization, the grassroots, they can do some education, like, well, doing this here today, and also to talk to Congress people as a constituent about this question. And thus was the origin of various names of the UNA USA. And so you can see very true in there. And next. All right, so Eleanor Roosevelt is the patron saint of the UNA USA, kind of the UN as well. She really thought the need for a grassroots organization was a key thing and devoted much of her life. After leaving her post with the United Nations to work on building the grassroots support today. And next. And so you can see some of the people who were involved in some on the shot. Had a little have been involved with over years. So, it's some of these people said that your child turn around and forward to mission. So additional labor lower grassroots one. Next. Goals. We'll talk about those a little bit. They're 17 they're just big, it's fun graphic. And try to focus or respond to the chapters. Try to connect to sustainable development goals, work out and sort of about that. Sustainable development goals were created in 2008. Deadline for the goal to complete by so next in this picture. The national organization has two big national get-togethers in June, where we have a couple of days to discuss with people living in the United Nations, state department, and such. And then so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. On Tuesday, we go to Capitol Hill, do some lobbying. And they're headed up to arrange appointments with the Congress people or maybe their staff to talk about things. I've been doing this for 9 years and run this thing in Washington, maybe some know. The top goal always is if you must be states full to the United Nations, this is going to continue to struggle. And this one we were sort of showing some improvement under Biden and some next. And so next. So there are 200 chapters around the country. See some of the dots here. Hawaii, also Puerto Rico and Guam, which didn't quite fit on this map. You can see Hawaii and Madison. Wisconsin used to have several more chapters, but before my time, I think some of them disappeared. It's quite active. A lot of people come to these national get-togethers, and next. So I'm going to show you that they call the leadership summit these days. This is from the older one, but she had some good stuff. So next. So this is Gina Biggs, was our national director for a while, actually charged with the board of the UN National Council. She's been on to the international level, some development integration that has chapters in about 100 countries around the world. And then I'll show you those in a minute. Next. Washington conference or National Education Association left. And Holmes was on our board one time after this chapter. Next. And in addition to doing the lobbying and listening to a lot of discussions, we support so backpacks. Next. So this is chapters called, as I said, World Federation of UNAs. And the fun part of reading this, one of the fun parts is that when you explain by their offices, say hello and say they're doing this. Opposites, Cuba, Ghana, and Nicaragua on that map. Next. They meet every 3 years, usually hello, go to Cuba. So here's one. I attended this one as a representative of the chapter. This was actually in the Dominican Republic. So I like to get other countries doing similar things. So it's pretty fun. Next. So next. And we chose the Cuban delegate to this thing. A little bit how much together spot next. So here's in Ghana, and a couple more of our members, Senator George Stone, and I left there, and these are folks from the UNA of Ghana, who are very gracious to welcome us to their good partners. Have a great discussion on this. Next. So this is one example of the forums. We do forums about 10 times out of the year. It's been on the third Saturday usually. We do have a solid church these days, which is the Methodist Church across well. And so when Michael Mann was really an international effort to change one time, this is in person. We're hoping our next event is International Women's Day, next Saturday. Flyers available there. But the one after that, for April, we're going to be doing birthday membership thing, trying to at least zoom in with us to talk about the latest kind of climate change. Next. And so just a couple of programs from the past. I showed this slide once before the folks at OSHA. Maybe I should update it, but actually no, it's got some good stuff. You can see the second one, Sheldon Lubar, presentation with us one time. John Nichols, maybe you know, and January, the Whitefish Bay students did presentations. They've been studying things with the bottom dimension there, and they also sort of hosts often for our UN Day activity in October. And so you can see in March, I'll always be doing International Women's Day in March. We used to do these fundraising dinners, and we stopped that with COVID, but we'd like to start it up again. So stay tuned. Before the community is going to send around, maybe over guests or email us. You won't send a lot, but if you're interested in some things, you can find out. Yeah. So there's hope that you can do it as well. We need volunteers for some of our projects. They're very really good forums. Yeah. In October, we always do something for United Nations Day, which is a big build of national. November, we also do something best for peace. In December, it's Human Rights Day. It's protocol. One of the partners. So here's another one. This is called the United Nations Schools of International Learning. This is the project that's schools. And it's become very successful. You can see there, it's in about 14 schools now. This is elementary level. And so it's bringing young people who have curriculum materials to teach them something about world issues and countries of the world. doing it again this year. So this is the first volunteer pitch. We need people to come. It's like a science fair about world years. And so students have these sort of rifle things, research and stuff on the table. And they stand by hoping that somebody will come around and ask them about the research. We really, really need volunteers. It's not very far from here. We'll be down in Beardsley this year. And it'll be on Wednesday, May 7th from 9:15 until 11. We're going to have to stay the whole time. We'll give you sample questions to ask the students. You can ask them anything you want. And it's just inspiring to see people who are in fifth, sixth grade, seventh grade, who have shown some interest in these things and can talk about it and doing some research. It sort of progresses through the grades. The 8th grade to do some service learning related to some sustainable development goals. Very impressive, unique in the country. Next. And next. Besides John, I'm going to take a credit for this is. Was the ambassador. That's by administration. She's out now. She has a Wisconsin connection. She had medicine. Sometimes she talks to our other national get together. Itself. And they didn't do it this year because things are sort of in turmoil with the nations. Next. Oh, you may wonder who's the ambassador now. I think on that, Elise Stefanik, maybe you've heard, has been nominated by the next ambassador. That's the congressperson in New York State. And for an international organization, she's a fierce critic of the United Nations. We're not part of the same thing. It's about honest evaluation. The thing is, the Republicans have a very, very strong majority in the House, and she's one of them. And so I'm trying to appoint her to the UN. So you might say, well, who's doing it now? And it's somebody who's sort of unknown, Dorothy Shea, former ambassador to Lebanon and some other things, going in as ambassador for the time being. So I won't say a whole lot about the United Nations, but well, it's complicated for one. I mean, this is even all the various parts of the United Nations. And maybe some of you know that they consider the UN has 6 parts to it: the General Assembly, the Security Council. You can sort of think about this in the US government. The General Assembly is about sort of the House. The Security Council is smaller, has the P5 plus 10 of the rotating ones. Economic and Social Council is called ECOSOC. It's sort of like a cabinet, they do various programs. Then the Secretariat, the Executive Branch, it's the Secretary General, and so on. The International Court of Justice has been more introduced in the last year, usual disputes between states. And then the Trusteeship Council, which is now inactive, that dealt with trusteeships have to look to. So that's probably not going to be read there, and maybe just as well. Let's take the line to explain. Next. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So I'm going to say a bit more, and then sure, right, I can get back some questions. So if not, I'll of course talk more about things that are probably coming back. So we do this part. The next one, as I mentioned, is the very slowly in the week. We're going to slowly say, got some super speakers for that. Flyer over a little bit. Meeting 7:15 from 10 to 11:30. And it's at the Brown Church, and try to do these hybrid. Sometimes the other points with potentials there. Your point is probably some of you know that people. The flyer there. The title of human see. So we're not just a sort of debating society, chat desire for race. that, it's not as fun. And so we're working on several things. One is end the freeze on U.S. foreign assistance. We may have heard about stop work orders and 90-day freezes that shut down USDA. Some of these things. It's a concerted crisis for the event for the world. And so we're asking all the Congress people. Number two, related to fully funding United Nations. The U.S. spends about $3 billion a year on dues, which is mandatory dues to the United Nations, and about another $10 billion in voluntary donations. Program, which is the biggest that the UN does. And the U.S. having the biggest economy in the world, is success dues, of course, the largest amount. And so, courses, it's a step of it's a social US students. It's probably show world health education. Did some tremendous work on COVID, million people died in the US, or but big show and things like this. Such as US. So that we need to support them. Number four, lead on climate crisis. And so which will not store on crop agency. Well, gas will be a bird. Congress decided to be funded. There's a major effort to try and restore it, especially with ceasefires. Actually feed people, get schools going again. So these UNRWA is the premier agency that does has done it. Held up 2 years ago in the US so there's that. A little bit more about the chapter. We have another program. Go back to the BRIC, the international program. We expect the BRIC your annihilation. The county board discussed a resolution, but we decided not to focus on the Milwaukee County Council. And so, for those of you that live in the city of Milwaukee, all of us, and asking to support it. See the recurrent that each flyer over the table, and it actually has the number, the resolution number 41660, and all and ask them to support it. And it's an opportunity to raise the issue, do some education, actually do something at a local level. Get a kind of council of guests, and actually. Always with the goal of shifting that money toward development needs like education, healthcare, things like that. Zero love for that. This the prevention organization all that much to be if you're under 26 it costs nothing. You're over when you ask for $50 that's great. And you don't have staff, you're probably volunteer, but we have expenses. We have a website, we do emails, we have flyers, and things send people to Washington, and it takes money. So nothing else, we'd like to be a member to get sign up for the sheet that's going around. If you want to do more than that, you can take a little note, that's going to help out a little bit about your offers. So, things. Yeah. Probably going on Washington. U.S. government did a lot of sometimes try to restrict that or now cutting out all of it. And so if you happen to see your kind of people around some event, some hall, elevator, you know, you can say we support United Nations and I want you also. In Wisconsin, or specifically Milwaukee, the Democratic representatives in the House and Senate have been good UN things, funding the UN. Our senator, not so much. Other Senator Johnson, not so much. So it seems to be have some bucking up. This talking to him rarely, but more on the staff. He doesn't want to abolish the UN. He's actually the liaison to the Senate. And he doesn't want to abolish it. He wants to reform it, and there's some things he doesn't like. But he's particular sure he doesn't like. By the way, to restore UNRWA, thing you call your Congress people about these things on the list. When war is signed out and state co-sponsor to be restored. House. Well, it's not done that so far. We're gonna have, you know, a lot of visits when we're Washington, but also sometimes otherwise person. And it was on these two live visits with the local staff for attending Walden, Senator Walden. And the woman there was pretty enthusiastic, especially talking about UNRWA, which she did not commit to. But she said, you know, people are finding more than ever because it's turned out to be not Washington. I said, what do we do? I tell them to call you. Because of that, there's something going on. This is, you know, they have a national call for national every month. Things are in crisis, but in a sense, it's an opportunity. This is our people are about the fears. Things are really, yes, it's well ahead. U.S. World Affairs and the U.S. support the UN, which allows fears. So, if you think, well, everything is okay, and what about it? No, that's not true anymore. We really need your help. Please sign up to your reports. It's it. So, might be that picture too. That's it. If you're paying attention, I think there's some great questions. All right. Okay. Do you know where the Bible is in the podium? So this is about the Model Win program. There's several high schools and colleges around the area that do it. State has some high school at State, and Marquette University. I'm not sure where it started. I don't know if you find any for help on that.
I was never at it, so.
It's, you know, it's a different side. Well, yes and no. You know, they actually used to host get-togethers at my event. When we had the TED for the money. So we don't do any work. They have their own organization, so they have regional and national get-togethers. So we play the big club in a sense. And a lot of patients. So it's a great program. Yeah, we're mostly straight up. It's a lot of relationship.
Did you insinuate that?
Yeah, it's about Senator Baldwin. She's been great on the UN general, about undergrad. She's so far past and not to restore undergrad act. And she's been a little bit iffy on some of the other things we're concerned about. You know, premises, nobody's perfect, right? We've been concerned about things about having these relationships with people, restoring undergrad guests. We wanted to see negotiations in Ukraine a lot earlier. Yeah, she's supportive.
She didn't just not go to the store, she voted.
Yes.
What was that about?
Well, that's a long story. I'm part of the agency work past. We'll have to discuss it. Israel doesn't like the Palestinians in general. It doesn't like anybody who supports them. And so I'm going to do all those things. Zero getting into some of Israel, and Israel has disproportionate influence, I would say, on U.S. foreign policy for Israel. And so it's kind of when Israel third doesn't somehow participated in about 4%. Israel and Roberts, two investigations over the year. The investigations found what they were so that's stop one word.
First.
Question. All right, so what about the people from the and Mark again, as you can imagine, has been very supportive in schools. And we had meetings with some of the others. Yes, sometimes they say they like to become part of it. I don't like that much about folks outside of Milwaukee. One little tidbit there was against from Peace Action. Decisions. Well, it's a great and No, it's about man. Four sentences. Other methods. Oh, but this was always goals. So, which I was really going to use it for my levels, like your collaboration with the rest of the world, just to see. For sure, things that you rest of the city. Collaboration with the rest of the world has there's other steps for all. It's fairly requested. World Health Organization of the COVID-19 pandemic, an example of the danger that international organizations pose to U.S. citizens and interests. So WHO really solved the COVID crisis as you actually enemy. Imagine. I'd have to say my Johnson should. For example, Trump administration with the United States Educational Cultural Organization, that's all. What about that? About that? So, Sheldon, your process, that's not the big thing. Republicans last year, when they were chief of my to fund large parts of the United Nations, only for actual use, which means that the U.S. will use its vote of the United Nations. You mentioned this, the U.S. really created the United Nations, managed to find a way to lots of other countries, how it's, what complaints about it is, it wasn't there, we got to reinvent it. It's one place in the world where all the countries of the world have a say on whatever issue, including, for example, climate change. And so we need to keep it. Yes.
What happened to the headquarters?
Well, they want to continue, and I don't think the U.S. can take away the building level on that. And the major, like you said, it's a major funder. The next major funders, by the way, are China and Japan. And so we've got to reduce things. When I was listening to the hearings about at least define it for nomination to be the best, I was surprised we don't hear as much around Wisconsin as they do out in Washington or Coast. China, it's terrible threat of China. And one argument is, don't care for that, she said, arguments, must stay in the United Nations, its dues, because otherwise China will take it over, or China will do this or that, or China will be one up on us, etc., etc. And so, in the hearings, it's surprising amount. I guess if you concern about China stuff, that's one more reason to stay in the U.S. It's not greatest is. Yes.
Did you say earlier that the U.S. Congress defunded, eliminated our support, financial support for
Yes.
during my
Yes. And then during the first Trump administration, all the stuff was restored by. But then when the October 7th came out, and the 6 or so months after that, Israel declared that U.S. tariffs all. Yes. Both Congress. Both of them stopped until March of this year. This is that it's brought it's how this is done.
Organization, what happened?
World Health Organization. There's this idea out there that looks for the problem. It's that somehow the WHO maybe was involved in starting COVID, that in China, or that it didn't do enough of something, or that it did too much of other things and shut down schools and such. Some people are still working on that. So the medical service folks are doing normal things in the name of health. So they've actually some people, including Ron Johnson, and say he is an enemy. It should be a dragon that should be slain. Yeah.
There's a little bit of story to the 60s. It's also one of the biggest Roosevelt friend, who's a big but if you like
So, go ahead. Yeah.
Can you say a little bit more about sustainability?
No, they still are. They used to be Millennium Development Goals, but just 17 of them. We have a sort of thumbnail postcard for which is great. So here's the one of the we're proposed to receive. We've done on water and sanitation. A very last form, which was project that's out of Long College University on the west side, started by the non-fitter students where they developed by model of water. It's a really national project. I know about it and have a discussion about it. It's important. So three people from all American, including the students, gave a great presentation. And really good discussion. There's another one to be. It's that work growth. But this is about the pages quality, there's some other planners requirements. They're presented the chapter 527. Try to help impact on the planet. So, yeah. Steel. Also, this balance, but it's sort of feel in general, specifically sort of a climate change. This is the one place where this planet so they started out just partners, states, our demonstrations. What they're really innovative things that do just front presentation. Central issues. Yeah.
Just say a little more.
To get what it is bad, so please that. Yeah, talk more about it.
That, but so he's been in favor of at least some things in the past. He's hardcore against better relations with Cuba. You may have heard his family's, exiled from Cuba. So John, here's your chance. No. John actually did a presentation at one of our previous forums about his experiences in the Foreign Service, and if you haven't had it here, you might consider asking to do something. I'm just saying it's a thought. All right, I think my time has expired, so Lorraine, want to send me out?